On three. 1, 2, 3. Gracefully guiding people into their God-given purpose. Everybody say, let's get it.
Let's get it.
From a very young age, we are trained to consider and contemplate the future. From our initial moments in grade school, we were most likely asked by a well-meaning teacher, what do you want to do when you finish the sentence? Especially in our Western and capitalistic culture, we are inundated with messages that communicate that where we are isn't good enough, and bigger, faster, stronger, shinier is the place where true peace and self-satisfaction lies. The aim of this conversation isn't to suggest that you are not in a place of purpose and that you should be striving for another level of success, status, power, or popularity. Young people, all eyes on me. The aim of this conversation is to simply ensure that as God's chosen people, we have not made the detrimental decision to settle into a place absent of God's place. The purpose of this conversation tonight is to shift us from a state of comparison with others to a state of completion in Jesus Christ. A state of being where we are surrounded with a peace that can only come from living out God's plan. Please understand, young people, that the world will tell you that only way to be happy is to have the fastest car, the biggest bank account, the house with the most bedrooms. But if that's the guide and gauge for happiness, only one person can truly be happy. Because there's only one richest person in the world. There's only one most popular person in the world. And guess what? Even that changes on the day. No, what you should be striving for is Jesus. Why? Because Jesus says, I am the Prince of Peace. You may not find peace in another follower. You may not find peace in another boo or bae. You may not find peace in another position. You may not find peace in another degree. You may not find peace adding another figure to your salary. You may not find peace in the corner office. You may not find peace with another piece of hair.
Come on.
My name's Yannik McKie, man.
Your friend.
But I got a promise for you. If you chase Jesus, you have a promise. Oh, peace. And truth be told, that's what everybody wants. The bully, the reason they're picking on you is because they aren't confident in who they are and they're looking for peace. The young man that's chasing panties instead of chasing purpose was never shown what it was like to be a real man. And you know what he really wants is peace. The young lady that's striving for popularity and wants to be the prettiest and most popular everywhere that she goes. So she seeks attention outside of God and Christ-like character. You want to know what she really wants? Is peace. I'm going to tell us message, there is more part two. How to get God's peace. But if we're going to celebrate the good news, I have to give you the bad news first. It's in Joshua 5 and 6. For the Israelites had wandered in the wilderness for how long? How long? Until all, what is that? Brother, that camera is killing me, man. Well, I thought that was you, man. I thought the third hit, I thought the hit day with the worship leader with the microphone. Hey, y'all put some WD-40 on this. Anyway, y'all know I'm ADHD without a minute, so we talked about that. So, thank you, John. I appreciate it. Can we shout out John for helping us? Joshua 5 and 6. For the Israelites had wandered in the wilderness for 40 years until all the nations, men of war, had come out of Egypt had died, since they did not obey the Lord. So the Lord vowed never to let them see the land he had sworn to their fathers to give us, a land flowing with milk and honey. I know that sometimes the Bible can be hard to understand, so I'm going to go slow and explain what this text is teaching. We, in a contemporary context, are the Israelites. We are God's chosen people. So in this text, God is taking his chosen people out of bondage in Egypt. Egypt represented sin, and we all struggle with sin. So God is taking them from a place of sin into a place of peace and prosperity that's called the Promised Land. The Promised Land is a land that's overflowing with milk and honey. It's a land that is peaceful. It is a land where everyone's in purpose. The Promised Land represents your place of productivity, passion, and peace. But guess what? As they were traveling to the Promised Land, it says that they wandered in the wilderness. What does wandering in the wilderness really mean? Wandering in the wilderness is when you can't find peace. You can't find the place that God has called and created you to be. Wandering in the wilderness is when you have to take the same class over and over and over again. Wandering in the wilderness is when you get in trouble for the same thing over and over and over again. Wandering in the wilderness is when you date the same dummy with a different name. And all of us, if we see somebody calling out their friend on the phone, what you got? Wandering is something we all can do. Why are they wandering? I'm glad you asked. It says it right there. Since they did not obey the Lord. You want to know what will make you wander in the wilderness? When you refuse to listen to God. You will live your life in a circle when you refuse to listen to God. You will wander in the wilderness in your relationship when you refuse to listen to God. You will deal with more depression than you ever have in your life when you refuse to listen to God. You will wander in the wilderness of low self-esteem, doubt, and fear when you refuse to listen. Here's your first tweet for the night. Disobedience will keep you in desert places. Woo! That's so good. God doesn't want you to be dry, but if you refuse to listen, he'll leave you in that desert place. There was a land flowing with milk and honey, but they were stuck in the desert. There is a place where you can find peace and joy in your career. But if you choose to follow the culture and the crowd, instead of being in a land that's flowing with milk and honey, you'll be in a desert and dry place. Oh, there is a place where you can flow with milk and honey. And what's sad is he made a promise against his promise. He says, I am vowing never to let them see the land that he swore to their father to give. He says, I'm promising not to give you the promise. We don't want God making promises against his promises. We don't want God. It wasn't that he changed his word. He just changed the way that they would have to receive it, because he said, y'all too disobedient to get it, so I'm not going to give it to you. I'm going to give it to your children. Oh, some of us who feel like we missed it need to be praying for our children. Oh, there's some stuff we can't go back and change. But guess what? We can make sure that our children prosper. We can't go back and change everything. But guess what? We can make sure that our children don't have kids out of wedlock. We may not be able to go back and change everything, but we can make sure our children don't put the same drugs that we put in our body. We may not be able to go back and change everything, but it's our job to make sure our children get in the place of promise, even if we didn't. Woo! He didn't change his mind. He just said, you ain't getting it. God's chosen people have a choice. Listen, young people. Look at me. You have a choice. You can settle for your current position in life, or you can choose to believe that following God leads to more. Joshua. I love Joshua. He was a younger leader that had been trained up by Moses. Moses had died, and God chose Joshua to take the children of Israel, God's chosen people, into the promised land now that the previous generation of doubters and haters fell off. Joshua 6:1 says, now the gates of Jericho were tightly shut because the people were afraid of the Israelites. Let me pause here parenthetically and remind everyone underneath the sound of my voice, in person and online, that we don't need to be scared of the enemy. The enemy should be scared of you. Period. Why did God lead Joshua? This is about to blow your mind. To take Jericho first. Jericho was a strategic stronghold. Everybody say strategic stronghold. This is where you got to do a little bit of study. Jericho was a border city. And Jericho, because it was a border city, actually controlled important trade and migration routes between the north, south, east, and west. Jericho was in such a strategic place, it exercised strategic power over the entire promised land from one location. Why did God say take Jericho first? Do you know that the devil doesn't have to have control over your entire life to control your entire life? The devil simply needs a strategic stronghold. Jericho was a strategic stronghold. It didn't control the whole land, but it controlled a strategic place that from when this from this one place, I can then control everything else that happens in the land. The devil doesn't have to control your entire life to control your entire life. All the devil has to do is to get in your head, because everything in your head leads to your heart, and everything in your heart leads to your hands. And so what the devil wants to do is get in your head with low self-esteem, so that you start feeling down on yourself and then start making dumb decisions with your hands. What the devil wants to do is get in the strategic place in your mind and have you walking out with fear. And that way you never achieve what he called you to do with your hands. Why? Because there's fear in your head. And he's got a strategic stronghold. What the devil is trying to do, young people, is getting your thought patterns.
Come on, Nick. Come on, Nick.
He wants a strategic stronghold. That's why you have to watch the music. Because if he can put a nice beat to it, he can get you to repeat dumb stuff. And before you know it, you call it women out their name, and you trying to dress like a hooker. It's a strategic stronghold. Because if he can get in your mind, he can get in your heart. Because what's in your head leads to the feelings that are in your heart. And what you do with your hands come from your emotions. Oh, let me slow down. This is what Romans 12:2 says. Do not conform to the pattern of this world. Young people, look at me. What world are you patterning your life after? Is it God's kingdom, or is it the culture? Who deep down inside, and answer this question for me. Who do you really want to be like? Who do you really want to follow? What are you patterning your behavior after? If we want to change our life and get to the more, it starts with what's in our head. Because he said, if I can renew your mind, if I can take out the garbage and give you God, if I can take out the hell and give you some heaven, if I can take out the earthly stuff and give you something eternal, can anybody testify? Your life will be transformed. You can find purpose. You can find peace. Everybody say, get a new mind. Get a new mind. So Jericho represented a strategic stronghold. Verse 2 says, but the Lord said to Joshua, you're going to lose your mind when I say this. I've given you Jericho. I've given you the strategic stronghold. Oh my goodness. I've already defeated the enemy. You ought to give God praise. And that thing that you don't think you'll ever be able to put it for a second. God has already given you the victory. That thing that keeps you up at night, you ought to give God praise. God has not given it to you. And that thing that you thought would never get better, that's what. Keep chasing Christ. God is over. That's right. That's right. That's right. So I've given it to you. You're going to get over it. You're going to get your joy restored. You're going to get your bank account yours, but to take possession, you got to put in the work. It's yours. I'm going to give it to you, but don't think I'm going to give it to you. Holy possessions take human productivity. I'm going to remind and repeat that. Y'all looking at me crazy like you having a cognitive confusion. But listen, holy possessions take human productivity. We can't expect God to do it all himself. If there's something that you want, get up and get it. If there's something that you want, make a sacrifice to make it happen. I get so tired of these Christians who act like just because they pray, it's supposed to happen. I get so aggravated, agitated, and frustrated when folks who just think blessings are supposed to pop up. No, you just don't blow up, you build up. There are sleepless nights. There are Christians are some of the laziest folk in the world. I get tired of the people in the world outworking us who call ourselves followers of Christ. How can they outproduce you if you a follower of Christ? How can they outwork you if you got Jesus in your life? How can they get more done and you connected with God? So he says, walk around the walls. Woo! Oh man, this is so good. The walls of Jericho. Everybody say massive. Historians believe that these walls were at least 13 feet high and about 6 feet wide at the base. Do you understand that the walls the enemy has built to keep you out of your more are so massive that the only way you're going to bring them down is faith? Listen, the walls that the enemy built when you were abused as a child, the walls the enemy built when you didn't meet your father until you were 36, the walls that were built around you when you went through what you went through, the walls that were built around you in that prison stint, those walls that were built around you, they're too big for you to try to fight by yourself. God said, I want you to walk around the walls. Why? Because walking around walls shouldn't bring them down. But if you walk in faith, I'll do exceedingly abundantly above all that you can ask to do, according to the power that is at work in me. I want you to walk around the wall. I want you to do something that doesn't make sense. I want you to look stupid. I want you. Why do you think something supernatural can happen in your life if you only use natural weapons? 13-foot walls with a base that's 6 feet wide, and God said, don't touch it, just walk. The reason some of our walls have not come down is because we try to produce something holy with human effort. So the human effort, the work, has to be attached with faith. Because faith without work. So he said, I want you to work, that's the walking. And I want you to walk because that's the faith too. But watch this. But it ain't gonna come down the first time around. Now, them walls so thick, we so messed up in the mind, we done made so many mistakes, we done jacked up so many times. go. The success comes not with the commitment. The success comes with the consistency. Keep walking. He said, walk around the walls. Keep walking. Don't stop praying. He may not have answered yet, but keep walking. I know it doesn't seem like it's helping, but it's better than doing nothing. Go back to counseling. Keep walking. I know it's aggravating, agitating, and frustrating, but guess what? Sometimes to bring down certain walls, you gotta keep walking. Certain size walls not gonna come down the first time around. Oh, he said, walk around the walls. You'll like this one, young people. He also said, watch our words. Touch somebody and say, watch your mouth. Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth. Watch it. Watch it. I love Joshua 6:10. NLT version, New Living Translation says, Joshua commanded, not. Ooh. Ooh. How many words? Woo! Walls will come down, but not a single. Oh, real G's move in silence. Yeah, when you really working on something, keep your mouth shut. Stop telling everybody what you're gonna do and how much you're gonna have. Keep you real. Just do it. He said, not a single word. Don't just walk. Walk with the right attitude. Don't pout and expect God's power to move. The problem with some of us is we nice nasty. We passive aggressive. We do stuff, but we do it with the wrong attitude. I'll put the dishes up. Why are you making so much noise? Go make up your bed. I'll make up the bed. Silence. I love Joshua. We may be kin, because this sounds like something I would say. Can I get a version of Joshua 6:10? Shut up. I'm tired of you talking. I'm tired of the doubt. I'm tired of the fear. I'm tired of the whining. He said, don't you say a word while you walking. Why we gotta walk around these walls? Did Joshua not check the weather? I mean, did God really say this stupid? No, I ain't never seen no walls come down from just walking. That's why you got to be silent, because you don't understand your words aren't just to communicate. Your words are to create. When you are speaking against what God is trying to move, but you won't shut up. He can fix your marriage if you stop talking about the divorce all the time. Your kids would do better if you stop speaking down to them all the time. We don't speak facts, chosen. We speak faith. I don't care what it looks.
He said, shut up. I don't want no negative Nancy's and doubting Derricks on this mission. I know what I'm doing. I know what God said. That's why you got to do what my little sis said. You can't back down. Everybody ain't going to believe. And when they don't, tell them, shut up. Unless they're your parents. Unless they're your parents. What are your words like? Don't put a period where God put a comma. It ain't over. Don't stop telling people you broke and start saying, I'm temporarily out of funds, but God's going to provide. Stop telling folk. We had a leadership meeting, and I told my leadership team, I said, stop talking about what you don't have. That's a period. Why don't we talk about what God can do? Why don't we say, I don't have it right now, but I'm going to pray that God can provide. Y'all can call me old-fashioned, but I believe what the word says. I can do all things through Christ that strengthen me. So just because I don't have it today don't mean God's not going to provide it tomorrow. Just because I don't have it. What are we believing in? I'm not believing in what I see. I'm believing in what God has said. And if he said I can grow it, I can grow it. If he said I can change it, I can change it. If he said I can do miracles, he said some miracles need silence. I'm almost done. Y'all been a great crowd. Watch this. Jesus, when he arrived at the official's home, he saw the noisy crowd and heard the funeral music. Exclamation point. So he's screaming, get out. He told them, the girl isn't dead. She's only asleep. But the crowd laughed at him. I dare you to kick every person out your circle that's laughing at what God called you to do. I dare you. Yeah, I'm waiting until marriage to have sex. Keep laughing and watch how my marriage end up and how yours does. Yeah, I'm getting off the block and I'm training for the boardroom. I may not have the money that you have now, but I'm going to wait a little longer and I'm going to keep it longer too. Keep laughing at what God called me to do and watch who get the last laugh. Jesus said, get out. Because I don't want anybody in my circle that's not in my corner. I don't want anybody speaking against what it is I'm trying to do, because sometimes the haters will slow you down. After the crowd was put outside, Jesus went in. Sometimes you got to kick folks out to get Jesus. He took the girl by the hand and she stood. Walk around the walls, but do it in silence. Do it in faith. Trust that God is going to move. You may not see it. Matter of fact, you won't see it. He's testing your faith. Yeah, it's not going to make sense. It's not supposed to make sense, because if it makes sense, you'll get the credit and Christ won't. Keep walking. No, you're not going to have the provision, but guess what? Where God guides, he'll provide. Keep walking, but do it with the right attitude. Watch this. He says, now, I want you to go from silence to a shout. If we walk around our walls, if if we watch our words, we will experience the power of our praise. Let me move this chair. On the seventh day, the Israelites got up at dawn and marched around the town as they had done before. But this time they went around the town 7 times. The seventh time around, number of completion. As the priests sounded the long blast on their horns, Joshua commanded the people, for the Lord has given you the town. Oh, there's some cognitive confusion. Let me break it down. Israelites were in unity. That's a picture of the church. That's why I told y'all, not trying to be rude, but just speaking facts. If you can't be unified with chosen, maybe this is not the place for you. Because I'm not looking for quantity, I'm looking for quality. They were in unity. With no doubt in their hearts and no murmuring in their mouth. The priest represents the spiritual leadership. Those are the pastors. So you got a church that's unified, and you have pastors that are leading, and it says in Joshua 6:2 that the priests were carrying the ark. The ark represents the presence of God. The ark carried the covenant. The ark carried the law. And it represented the supernatural presence of God. So you have the church that is unified. You've got the pastors that are leading, and they're leading, holding the presence of God. And then he said, give me some praise. You missed it again. Let me try again. People on one accord. Pastors leading with the presence of God. Then he said, shout, for the Lord has given you the land. We should be able to stand in the presence of our walls and give God a shout. We should be able to stand even in the midst of our pain and give God praise. I don't know exactly what your wall is, but I don't want you to give God praise like you believe it's coming down. I want you to give God praise like you about to step into your more. I know that it's still there, but I want you to shout believing that God is giving you the victory. Shout like you got the marriage you want. Shout like you got the money you want. Shout like you got the peace you want. Shout like you got the joy you want. Shout like you got the ministry you want. Shout like you got the career you want. Shout like you... Praise confuses the enemy. Why are you shouting and you suffering? Why? Because I'm believing in a supernatural God. Why are you shouting before the walls come down? Because I don't shout based on my present. I shout based on my purpose. I know what God... Everybody say, there is more. The walls are coming down. God has given